it's time for part 3 of my favorite demos of February 2026's version of Steam Next Fest. So sit back and enjoy another collection of amazing indie game demos you should definitely check out. We're starting things off with Forbidden Solitaire. This is the next game from Grey Alien Games. We are leaving the Regency period behind for Solitaire and going for some 90s style horror, as you have found a copy of the mysterious game Forbidden Solitaire that was considered too violent and disturbing for audiences. But is there something going more beneath all the cards that we're going to be playing? The game itself kind of combines the I'm not sure how we call it, like a simulator horror of playing a game from the 90s with that of Solitaire. So during the plays, you'll be playing cards, unlocking new abilities, and you'll also get little vignettes in 90s FMV charm as you learn the secrets and mysteries behind this game's development. In terms of like pure horror, it's hard to tell like how far it's going to really go. There are going to be some very weird monsters you're going to be seeing throughout the game, but if you're looking for like pure, 18 plus horror, I don't think the game is going to go that far. And it is certainly quite charming. It really does nail that kind of like early 90s style of like FMV's design and look. And I'm interested to see kind of like how far it's going to go in the main game. Will there be anything beyond just the Solitaire to scare us? So if you are a fan of Solitaire or Grey Alien's previous games, and looking for a little bit more spooky time, I would give this one a try. We leave the spookiness behind for a little bit more lighthearted take with Kingdom's Return. This is the next game from Inti Creates, and what we have here is an attempt that combines like a basic hack and slash with like a late city building, or in this case kingdom rebuilding sub-game. The idea here is that you are trying to rebuild a kingdom after some very crazy time-traveling shenanigans have happened. And to do so, we're going to explore the land, gather resources, and build things back up one building at a time. The game is mission structured. You'll get a mission from the town, which you will then go out into the world to go into various dungeons, complete the assignment, return, rinse and repeat. You have different characters you can play as, each having their own way of attacking and basic skill tree. The kingdom rebuilding comes in the form of each building you construct will affect your base stats. So if you build the blacksmith building, you'll gain higher base attack. If you build the general market, you may gain more health, and so on and so forth. It's all very neat and clever on paper, but the main concern from playing the demo is that it is very simplistic. If you're hoping for any kind of like advanced city building mechanics, being able to get goods going from different places, or just more involvement in that respect, I didn't see that in the demo. And you're hoping for like a more involved hack and slash, from what I played, it's still very basic. You're just repeating the same combos and dodging through enemies. If they can add a little bit more depth to both elements, I think there's a really great concept of the game here. But right now, it's kind of in the wait and see approach. I would at least give this demo a try if any of this sounds interesting to you, but we're going to have to hope to see there's a little bit more future elements in our time traveling game when it is released. The tonal whiplash is real for today's video as we're going to Withering Realms. This is the sequel to Withering Realms, a surprisingly solid and challenging combination of Souls-like and roguelike design that I still need to go back to and play more of. For the sequel, we are changing up the formula in many ways. We play the ghost of a girl who has mysteriously died. With our family missing, the world in a very strange place, we have found perhaps the most disturbing looking doll of all time that seems to heed our commands. And we're going to have to use them to explore the countryside and figure out just what the heck is going on. The basics of rooms is on display. So you have real-time combat with a focus on positioning and trying to line up your attacks more like of a Demon Souls or Souls-like style. But there's a lot more going on here. So first off, we're in full 3D. This is no longer a side-scrolling affair. This makes it a lot easier to fight some of the more nastier enemies, as you can actually dodge in 3 dimensions. Your doll has many different sockets for putting gear and customization on. You have different clothing options that will affect its armor and base properties. There are kind of talismans that you can equip that will also change your behavior or change the behavior of your weapons. You can only have 4 equipped at any one time, and this is essentially going to be your build. Do you want to focus on using magic, range, melee, dodging, blocking, you name it? Now, the biggest change is how the game handles the world exploration. The first game was kind of like a quasi-roguelike, that every time you died or rest, the world itself would reset to some extent. So rooms would move around, items would kind of swap their positions and that kind of thing. This time, how it works is that the world is kind of separated into rooms, and these rooms are massive affairs. When you rest or die, all the points of interest in a respective area are shuffled. So the first time you play, there may be a pond where a giant monster is in the northwest. This time maybe there's a cabin on the eastern side. Now you still need to explore the points of interest, because these are where you're going to find permanent items and upgrades. You no longer have to worry about items disappearing when you die unless you kind of bank them. So in that respect, it's definitely a little bit more fairer compared to rooms. Now, it can still feel a little bit janky in terms of fighting these enemies. Sometimes your attacks will hit stun, sometimes they won't. And you can go from full health to dead very fast. But there's certainly a lot more room with the greater number of items to create some more varied playstyles or builds, which I did enjoy. And I am definitely looking forward to seeing what strange monstrosities and builds we'll be able to make in the finished game. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, I highly recommend you check this one out. And again, if you're looking for a more challenging affair, definitely check out the first game. But with that, I am certainly interested in seeing where our little doll and ghost combo are going to go. Now we go to Runeomicon. This is a kind of like tower defense, or I guess like evil summoning defense game. We played a demo of this one a few years ago, but they haven't updated one for at Next Fest. In this, you have been kind of conscripted by an evil god to take revenge on the humans. And to do that, we must summon other demons and monsters into our world, using a variety of rituals. Unfortunately, those annoying humans are going to try and stop us. The play here is that you'll need to create or match the different rune symbols. They are what you see at the bottom of the screen. Each time you match correctly, you'll gain kind of spirit energy. This energy can be used to summon new characters to help you or unlock upgrades during the map. When you hit enough magic or enough essence, you'll move the ritual forward. When the ritual is fully completed, you win. If they break down the door and get you, it is game over, and you must restart. The campaign is going for kind of like the tower defense approach, with each map having different enemies, different unlocks for winning, etc, etc. I don't know if there'll be like an endless mode in the main one. It can still be a little bit challenging, as you'll need to get very quickly and accustomed to figuring out which symbols you can draw based on the patterns that show up, and they only get more and more advanced as the game continues. It's a really great concept that we really haven't seen before, at least in this respect, and I definitely want to see like where this game is going to go in terms of more advanced runes, and especially with a variety of upgrades and spells you can unlock. So another one that comes with a recommendation if you're in the mood to do some, I guess, demonic drawing. in your game. And now Scott Pilgrim is back with Scott Pilgrim EX. This is yet another beat 'em up, but we're moving up to kind of the stylings of River City Ransom this time around, when the entire band gets kidnapped by Scott's evil robotic twin. It's up to us to brave the mean streets of Toronto, past, present, and future, in order to save them. Now, the beat 'em up here is a little bit on the slower side compared to some of the other ones that we've played. There's only a lot more like heft to the motion and the momentum here. But you're still going to be exploring, punching, kicking, and using your special to deal with a variety of enemies. As you beat up characters, you'll of course earn money that you can use to buy food, get upgrades, and more. And it felt pretty good to play. I like the first Scott Pilgrim. I really do like the art style here, especially the pixel art animations. But this one, again, is going to be more of the kind of wide open city to explore rather than being stage-based. So, if you are a fan of, again, like the River City Ransom style of kind of like a RPG beat 'em up, I would give this one a try. And especially if you have a few friends who you want to go do some beat 'em upping in Toronto with. And now we go to something a little bit simpler with Piece by Piece. This is a puzzle game where our kind of key mechanic is that the world is quite literally a giant jigsaw puzzle. And you must piece it together, take it apart, and put it back again in order to get from beginning to end. I really like the aesthetics and the art style of this one, how you just frame around this like table with the pieces all over the place. The rules are you can move the pieces around any way you see fit, provided they snap together. And you can move your character around, and you'll eventually get access to the kind of pieces that belong to different sets, and your character will swap accordingly, and this will affect what they're able to do within each space. There's, of course, going to be a variety of puzzles, MacGuffins to find, etc., etc. My only nitpick is I wish I could maybe grab like multiple pieces and move them around like that rather than doing everything one at a time. But this is still a very clever and novel take on the puzzle formula. And I would definitely recommend this one to any puzzle fans, or I guess puzzle fans in the audience. We have one more puzzle game for the video today, and that is Spellsy. This is a word puzzle title where your job is to spell different words based on the letters. Where the twist comes in is that each board you can use the letters a fixed number of times. And you can only connect letters that are next to each other. So not only does it turn into a case of what letters or what words I want to spell, but what order do I want to do them in to make sure that we have enough for all the words that we need. As someone who is absolutely horrible when it comes to word-based puzzle games, this one is probably not going to be for me. But if you are a letter fan, looking for another puzzle game to try out, then I would definitely give this one a look. And for the last game of tonight, we go to Aethus. This is a factory-style game where you play a woman who has come to her grandfather's old mining site in order to find buried treasure there. And we must use the powers of automation, lots and lots of resources to uncover this grand mystery. So this is a kind of like third-person style take on the automation. You'll begin with barely being able to produce anything of note, but as you start to harvest resources both inside the mine and outside, you'll be able to construct various structures, habitats, and more. Now, the kind of twist or the element of the game is that you have the outer area of the mines where you'll be able to set up your base, production lines, etc., etc. And then within the mine, you have a limited amount of air, and you'll need to set up various mining sites and more within it in order to pump out the resources that you can then use on the surface. Now, with this being a demo, I did not get a chance to see how the mine itself will interact with the outside and vice versa, but there's definitely some charm to this one. It has some, like a solid foundation, at least from what I saw. I am interested to see where we'll go in the finished release, and this one is trying to be more, again, like story driven, less sandbox, like a Factorio or a Dyson Sphere. So if you're in the mood to do some automating and factory production, I would at least give this MMO a try, and as I said, I'm definitely interested to see where it will all lead when the game is eventually released. But with that, another night of Next Fest comes to an end. Let me know what you thought about these games down below, and we still have plenty more games to cover. So thanks for watching, and see everyone in the next part for more indie games of Next Fest. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and you're interested in more in my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.